too.
Many of us have seen this round fighter in his trademark American shorts, outwardly not looking like a fighter.
Ultimately, of course, he's fighting.
Eric Esch, better known as a Butterbean, had no neck, but had a hard punch.
And he winks at George while you're talking.
It was too late for his opponents to realize who they were really dealing with. This heavy eater claimed he punched harder than Tyson. This is boxing pride, and today we're here to show you the scariest knockouts of the 400-pound Floor Decker who became world super heavyweight champion and who each and every time crushed bodybuilders and showed you where the real man's power lies.
Well, it's wild now, folks, and there goes Doug Norris!
Eric Esch from Atlanta, at a very early age, a chubby boy started getting bullied, which served as a good motivator to learn how to fight. Now grown-up Esch, who every other Saturday in his local bar staged a Western-style shootout, inadvertently received an offer to participate in the then-popular Toughman's competition. And the $1,000 prize money completely covered Esch's appetite and inclined the big guy to accept the offer. Although the competition was at super heavyweight, 500-pound Eric Esch still had to go on a strict Butterbean diet to fit within the 400-pound limit, so the nickname Butterbean was immediately latched onto the big guy. At 32 years of age, Butterbean faced the most formidable opponent up to that point, Peter Hurricane McNeely, a boxer with stunning 34 knockouts and who once even boldly challenged Mike Tyson himself.
I'm Hurricane Peter McNeely from Medfield, Mass. On Saturday night, watch me kick Tyson's ass!
And got in the ring with him, and with no intention of dropping his insolence, McNeely brazenly came right at Butterbean's face. Since the very beginning of the fight, both titans collided in the center of the ring, banging the crap out of each other.
He really thinks he's a real fighter. He fights good 4-round fights. That should tell you something. 49 wins, and neither of them have fought a lot.
Veteran McNeely had that edge and experience, which allowed him to get away with it. McNeely just simply was a better boxer. Thus, this prompted Butterbean not to box, but to fight.
Butterbean and McNeely in hand by Butterbean. That snapped McNeely's head back. Another uppercut. It's all Butterbean. McNeely ready to go. And that's it. Shane 80 steps in.
The barrage of Floor Decker's sledgehammers, and the pretty boy from Memphis was defeated. After so many devastating victories, Butterbean finally stepped into the ring to challenge for the IBA heavyweight title. Standing against him was the intimidating and gigantic Ed White, who was definitely not in the mood to give the gold to the fat man.
And you have to look at the positives.
The tall White began with an artillery bombardment, from which Butterbean had nothing left to do but to shell up.
Dominated Butterbean. That was a big upset.
Yeah, over New York for somebody, Butterbean.
In between doing so, Butterbean threw his bombs, which, even with an epic windup,
Ed White punches
Below his waist, and that'll be dangerous.
Butterbean lost the round, but did not lose the war. From the beginning of the second round, Eric, like a maniac, rushed at the giant with his haymakers, collapsing the skyscraper to the delight of the audience.
Haymaker right hand by...
White got back to his feet, but Butterbean immediately kicked the intruder out of his private property. And became the IBA heavyweight champion. After brutal battles, Butterbean faced an opponent, George Terminator Lindberger, who shared Butterbean's love for knockouts. The look on his face clearly represents his intentions for what he wanted to do to the chubby guy. The bell rang, and a quick combination from Butterbean.
Ultimately, of course, he's fighting.
And the previously intimidating Lindberger turned into Butterbean's lean burger. Having legally crippled 9 fighters in the pro arena. For his 10th fight, Butterbean went up against Paul Springer, a man who looked like a blend of Butterbean and a bull on steroids. For the first time, the opponent made Butterbean look like a normal human being. Paul's tactic was as simple as it could get: press his steroided weight and throw uppercuts. But it was not the first time Butterbean had to deal with the excessive weight. 2 well-placed hooks, and for the big man, it was lights out.
На этом все и кончилось.
In the style of young Mike, Butterbean did not waste any time, and a month later, he was back in the ring. This time, he faced the dangerous and cocky Greek god, wannabe Doug Norris.
He won several regional tournaments.
From the very beginning, Doug Norris relied on his huge muscles and even created dangerous situations for Butterbean. However, despite the tribulations, Butterbean always knew that he only needed one touch to the button to make his opponent's family cry. A cocky Norris believed in himself and started entering the phone booth with Esh.
He's getting nailed, though, by Norris.
Which was a fatal mistake. A sobering right hook staggered the upstart and marked the end of the fight. Norris bucked, but the guillotine was sharpened and the crowd had already gathered.
Well, it's wild now, folks, and there goes Doug Norris.
Some opponents have given him, I don't like to think of myself as Eric Esch, these previous sins of the fight.
Making his way to the top of the roster, Butterbean met Kenneth Mares, who exposed Esch's weakness over taller fighters.
But he's standing there with him.
Butterbean's majority decision victory was regarded by fans as their favorite's kryptonite. Like salt to the wound, Butterbean's next opponent was the inbred giant from Alabama. Such a principal rival was either going to make him or break him.
Buffalo Bills.
From the very first second, Butterbean came at Jackson to prove who was the owner of the ring. Proper footwork in tandem with his long arms proved to be an obstacle Esch had never faced before.
It might hurt him.
Missed the Butterbean with the jab. Now, he said he's going to jab, and that was straight right in.
Butterbean tried to dig the body there now. Jackson stood up.
Any man would have started to second-guess himself, but our hero doesn't give up. From the second round, he went at the Alabama giant.
Jackson moving straight back and going to the...
Butterbean's pressure mentally broke the once confident and agile Jackson, but Esch still had one, locked and loaded to cut down that bigger tree.
Butterbean should try a left hook to the body, then go upstairs. Now he's uppercutting.
The interesting thing, Dave, is he hasn't really...
The ref's job is to save the health of the fighter. In this fight, the ref protected Jackson from injury with his own head.
At the end of the round, he's separating the fighters.
Jackson didn't get punched, but it struck him so decided not to follow ref's fate.
Dramatic shots he walked into.
come in here and do battle. Shows you the referees have to have courage because
With a solid record of 34-1, in October of 1997, Butterbean shared the ring with dancing master Ken Woods. The fight began, and Butterbean came out fighting with the goal of scolding the dancing upstart.
Good left jab by Woods.
Woods' moves proved to be hard task to deal with.
Rather handily.
But once it lands, it's lights out with eyes wide open. On the night of February 19th, 1999, Butterbean was on his next title defense against Patrick Graham. If Butterbean would have won, it would be his 40th victory. To be fair, all the stars aligned in favor of Esch. The bell sounded,
Here in Butterbean's house.
and the fighters began to impose their rhythm on the fight. Butterbean with his choking pressure, while Graham tried to keep the fight at a distance.
One thing Butterbean has learned in his 40-fight tour of movements, he used to just come out and he's adding a little left jab to it.
The Canadian straights meant to keep the American in check became the perfect springboard for slip and countering.
Right hand shot clean to the head of Graham.
Having not changed tactics, Graham ate a savory American pie to his face.
He can do a lot. And Butterbean counters over the top of the jab.
Not afraid to go forward anymore, Butterbean was already confident in the shortness of the bout. Left hook and a body shot sent the Canadian out of the ring, and to fight is over.
And he winks at George while you're talking to him, and then knocks Graham through the ropes with a body punch.
A good decker proved to be great at decking others, which helped him get into the semifinals.
Break out canvas. That's a successful style against Butterbean.
Butterbean faced his first athletically built opponent, Brian Henry, with the provocative nickname, the Hitman. He thought the fight with the chubby guy would be a breezing walk in the park. The fight started,
Literally and figuratively.
and Butterbean, used to fighting in a cramped room, had difficulty reaching the jaw of the dodgy Henry.
He's laid in there, and Henry came back and won. So don't expect him to lay down. Gets a good left from
His wife in the audience began to worry, which motivated Esch to quickly put his wife out of her anxious thoughts. Butterbean threw a battle tested 1, 2, 3 times in a row, but only the third pair reached the target and knocked out the stubborn Henry in a Looney Tunes style.
Fight on. Oh, 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
After defeating Henry, Butterbean easily won the finale and took the Tough Man Championship title. Finally, Eric Esch, an ordinary floor decker, found a use for his considerable size. Cocky Sean Yegan, nicknamed Keela Gorilla, is Butterbean's biggest hater. He intentionally came out in a replica of Butterbean's shorts with a sounding statement, "Tonight, it will be lights out for Butterbean." But since the start of the fight, there was no trace left of Jagan's brashness. Butterbean slapped that cocky little ding-dong of thing around, and when punishment was almost enough, Butterbean punched his head of him forever, teaching that young fella some manly manners.
Out of Overland Park, Kansas, here comes Butterbean in. Good right hand, left hand, down goes Jagan, hits his head hard, fight is over. And Butterbean has returned to the ring.
Although Butterbean was never able to get anywhere near the real heavyweight elite, it doesn't take anything away from him as a boxer for the fans. In his prime years, he lived up to his maximum potential, never had a brake pedal, and always remained a man and a gentleman, for which he earned the fans' respect. If you enjoyed this episode, support us by liking and subscribing. You watch, we work hard.